falls over. We lift up our hearts, Lord. We give you
Oh, it's the sound of John Thomas. Here he comes. Friend John Thomas, the pride of Cape Town, South Africa. Here we go. John, how you doing, buddy?
Doing great. So wonderful to be with you guys here again.
Well, we're fired up, and it's always so much fun when you get to come to our part of the world and visit. And it was wonderful getting you settled in yesterday. And I know when you and your wife, Avril, hit the ground, you hit the ground running. Not a lot of free time, a lot of moving and shaking, a lot of gripping and grinning, and trying to take the message of living hope all over the United States while you're here.
Thank you for having us. It's really good to be back in Birmingham and just to be on the show, the best show.
Well, it is the best. Thank you, John, for saying that. I mean, you're speaking to America now. I mean, you can really do it in one stop. And, I'm just excited. I know I want you to know this. You know, sometimes, and you guys have now grandchildren now. And
by the way, grandchildren are God's reward for not killing your kids.
There's a lot of truth to that, right? Yeah, I've heard that grandparenting is much more fun than actual parenting.
Much more.
Yeah,
way better.
Yeah, and Avril, I'm glad you got to come back again this year with John. Good to have both of you here.
Thank you.
So you got a lot of traveling to do, but you know, if you're dealing with children or grandchildren, what do you always do? You say, now if you'll do this, there's a reward at the end of this. If you're good and you behave or you get this done, you do that. And for you and all the work that's ahead, you know your reward is to ride four-wheelers. And I want you to know, if you do well.
Have I been a good boy?
Now, you know, that's out there. We'll do that this weekend. So if you do well.
If I behave.
Yeah, we got a certain amount of money.
Thanks, Dad.
We want to do. Now, I heard a rumor. Did you ever get together? Did Live in Hope did you guys ever add to the arsenal a four-wheeler there in Cape Town?
I have in my personal arsenal added to one.
So you did. You took the step.
For his last birthday, I managed to get him one.
Oh, that is great.
Yes.
Look at that.
You know what?
Face.
John is almost a full-fledged South African redneck.
You really are. You're turning. Before long, that the southern part of South Africa is going to mean redneck.
But she bought me a dud.
A dud is
a
not
dud?
A second-hand dud, so we spent more money fixing it, but it's going.
Well, what do I know about four-wheelers?
Look, that picture right there.
That has delivered more conversation.
That changed everything.
Look at your smile on there.
You look so happy, John.
Well, she was holding tight.
She is holding very tight. Those of you that need a translation, John said his wife is. There's a picture of
I thought she was holding potatoes. It said holding a tot.
Yeah, he didn't say I'm riding with a tart. He said she is holding tight. I just want to be sure.
Thank you.
John Thomas could not have a bigger smile on his face if he was riding through the pearly gates.
Do you remember how cold it was? And I mean, we were freezing last year.
Unrighteously cold.
Yeah, and it's going to be chilly this weekend, but not as bad as it was. It shouldn't be as bad. So it should be a more pleasant day this year.
Now, why isn't Bubba coming?
Well, we tried this because I know you were excited that you wanted Bubba to ride, and he wanted to. And I said, this is our four-wheeler window. And Bubba's, that doesn't work for Bubba with all the things he's got with his family.
What time is it?
Is that the truth or his version?
Well, he told me the window, and it was so tight. I mean, it hardly was time to get the four-wheeler out and gas it up.
Right. I mean,
so I said, you got to get John's schedule and bump that thing open a little bit. You need a half a day to ride four-wheeler.
I don't know how
so it's not that you're nervous of being outridden?
No. No problem. No problem. Look, I don't look at it as a competition. I look at it as enjoying God's creation.
That's right. It's an exhibition.
Amen.
That's right.
That is it.
And Avril, you were not here.
Rick, what time are y'all ride?
We'll probably ride mid-morning Saturday for a few hours.
That's a little vague.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we're probably talking 10-ish to
so
to
I need
lunch.
to be there at 9?
10-ish to lunch. Yeah,
9
something like that.
Saturday.
I think. Is that right? Your Saturday schedule?
I think so.
Yeah, I know you guys have things you have to do
Okay,
later
we'll
in the
see.
day Saturday.
Everybody's
Do you know
looking at-
Avril and all? Do you know Danny? Danny Woods here, our pastor, who's we're host. Do you know their schedule? Jeremy, who's in? At 12? Oh my goodness, we got to go in the morning.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's got to be a.
Y'all want to start about 8?
Yeah, we're gonna have to get up a little earlier than I thought.
It's gonna be a
Yeah,
8:30 to 10.
I'm
We're
gonna
making it happen.
go gas up and be there.
Right, we can make it happen. No
Way to
problem.
go.
Yes. And now, what's his schedule for Friday?
Only thing on the schedule 5 o'clock.
Oh, wait a minute.
Wait a minute. Friday
After
might
show,
be.
Friday.
Friday might be better.
Friday won't work.
A little
for
less
me. We got
stressful.
10
That's where we
snaps.
had the problem
Yeah,
with it,
yeah.
because it was Friday to begin with. All right, we'll look at that. But Avril, you weren't here the first time he rode a four-wheeler, and I didn't know he'd never been around this, and he climbed his little self up on that four-wheeler, and he just went out through the open pasture, and he wasn't going very fast because he was new to it, and I just went up around him. He didn't know I was anywhere around, and this man became a little boy, and he's on that, and he just. He is smiling ear to ear. The power that with one little acceleration. It was the power, wasn't it, John?
It is the most exhilarating feeling.
John, let me ask you this.
Try and
When
take
you're-
that accent away. Exhilarating.
When you are going down a road there in South Africa and there's a mud hole on one side of the road, do you go to the side without the mud hole or do you go through the mud hole?
Oh, yeah.
Well, in South Africa, we don't have mud holes. We're not like the U.S.
There's not a lot of mud holes there.
It doesn't rain?
No, at this stage, still go around it.
You still going around it? Oh, that'll change tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to go through it.
Yeah.
Depends
and
if somebody's
spin it.
walking along the pavement or not.
Yeah, that's true. Right.
You need to spin in it a little bit, get sideways.
We've had a lot of rain in our part of the world this year, so a lot of the water holes on the trails are still full. So,
Way to go.
yeah, we can make
Yeah,
that
just
happen.
wear something that you don't mind getting dirty.
So, did
You
you
got
get,
rubber boots for him, I hope, Rick. You gotta get that taken
I
care
have
of.
some rubber boots, but we're big people, so they're big boots. but we'll see. But it's great to see you guys again. And I know that I mentioned it earlier. You're doing screenings of the movie, and I had a chance to see it Sunday at our church that is hosting you guys for our big GIC this week, and I loved it. I thought it was extremely well done. We had a little talk about it, I know yesterday. But that's one of the things that I wanted to make sure everybody understood. The quality is incredible, but it should be. You guys have some of the big hitters that have worked on this, right?
Correct. We've had guys out of Hollywood involved, and David Kern has been the main producers, done movies for Hallmark. So it really is a very, very high quality. It's not a Mickey Mouse job. Although I suppose Disney does good movies, but
We know what you mean, though.
but really, we are so grateful to all the producers and all those involved because it's turned out really well, and it has about 3 storylines. The one is of a middle Tennessean young man with his family of 4, Joey and Courtney Langford, and they head out on a journey of, hey, we're not satisfied with the way we're living now. Why we've got to the top of our little company and what's next. And that begins them a journey of seeking God's face, and they come in to join us at Living Hope, and there's a whole story behind that as he gets involved with our agricultural program. Then there's a story of a drug-dependent person, and her name is Leonie, and she is, her life's just messed. And she comes to know the Lord as her Savior, deals with her addictions, and actually has become one of the staff members in our healthcare center, or hospice as we used to call it. And then I say a couple of things in between the movie, and there are 1 or 2 very, bring your Kleenex moments when we baptize a girl in a bathtub, and she's a thin little emaciated lady, and 6 days later she's in glory. But so it's a great story, lots of emotion, tears and laughter.
Well, it really is a must see, and that's the thing I want is I know that we're screening now specific markets in America, and I'm sure it's going to be shown all over the world. But there's screenings tonight. If you're listening to us out of the Birmingham area, Brookwood is going to show it again tonight. And
Brookwood Baptist Church.
And then I know, is it this weekend that Denver, or is it the next week?
This coming Sunday at Smoky Hills in Denver.
Denver, Colorado. And those of you that may be watching on Heartland or listening on TuneIn and other ways you get the show in that area, look for a chance to see it there. And then after that,
Tuesday night in Loveland, Colorado at Foundations Church. So there are 3 more screenings. Brookwood Baptist tonight in Birmingham, Alabama at 6. Smoky Hills in Denver at 6 on Sunday night. And Tuesday night, either 6 or 6:30. I'm not sure on that. In Loveland, Colorado, at Foundations Church.
So check all that, and we put those dates up, as a matter of fact, in show notes, so you can see that also. We'll come back.